Have you ever wondered where your missing donut went? No? Well, I have a story about it. Picture this: a man, let's call him Joe, wakes up every morning to the sweet scent of a freshly baked donut. But there's a twist to this tale. Every time Joe leaves his donut unattended, it disappears. Poof. Gone. Like a magic trick, but without the magician or the applause. Now Joe isn't a man to be trifled with, especially when it comes to his beloved morning donut. So he sets out on a mission to solve the mystery of the elusive disappearing donut. Joe, being a man of the 21st century, decides to set up a top-notch donut surveillance system. Yes, you heard it right, a donut surveillance system. He places cameras in every nook and cranny of his kitchen. He even puts one in the fridge, just in case the donut decides to take a chilly adventure. Days turn into weeks, and Joe's obsession with the disappearing donut grows. His friends start to worry, his family thinks he's lost it, but Joe, he's relentless. He spends hours, nay days, poring over the footage, looking for any sign of the donut thief. But the donut? It's a cheeky one. It continues to disappear, leaving no trace of its sugary existence. Is it a donut-loving ghost, a teleporting donut? Or perhaps it's a donut with a mind of its own, taking a stroll around the neighborhood when Joe's not looking. The possibilities are endless, and Joe's quest, seemingly, infinite. This man's absurd and hilarious obsession with his disappearing donut becomes the talk of the town. People whisper about it in hushed tones, children giggle about it, and Joe, well, he's still on his mission. So before you blame your dog for your missing donut, consider that it might just be a donut-loving ghost. Who knows, right? After all, in a world full of mysteries, what's one more disappearing donut? Ever heard about a cat that doesn't land on its feet? How about one that doesn't land at all? Meet Figaro, the feline who decided that gravity was simply beneath him. Now we've all heard of cats having 9 lives, but Figaro seemed to have taken this concept to another level. Instead of exploring his multiple lives, he was more interested in exploring multiple dimensions, the third dimension in particular. Height. One fine day, Figaro just refused to come down. Literally. Imagine waking up one morning to find your pet cat hovering around your ceiling fan. Not the most typical start to a Tuesday, right? Figaro was floating around the house like a fur-covered balloon, a gravity-defying spectacle that left both humans and fellow pets in utter disbelief. Now, a floating cat might sound like a fun spectacle, but let's not forget about the feline's notorious reputation for mischief. Picture this: Figaro floating around the house, knocking over your grandmother's favorite vase, causing it to shatter into a million pieces. Or imagine him drifting into the kitchen, causing a cascade of pots and pans, creating a symphony of chaos. The protagonist, let's call him John, tried everything to bring Figaro back down to earth. He tried luring him with a can of tuna, waving a laser pointer, even going as far as to use a vacuum cleaner in reverse to suck him down. But all his attempts were as futile as trying to keep a squirrel away from a bird feeder. In this hilarious turn of events, Figaro became the first cat astronaut, conquering the zero-gravity zone of his own living room. And John? Well, he was left with a house turned upside down, a broken vase, and a cat that refused to play by the rules of physics. So the next time your cat jumps off the furniture, just be thankful it comes back down. Because as John learned, a cat that defies gravity isn't just a handful, it's a houseful. Rain falling up? Surely that's just nonsensical, or is it? Well, buckle up folks for an amusingly befuddling tale from a quaint little town where the rain has a peculiar sense of direction. Yes, you heard it right. In this town, the rain falls upwards. No, we're not talking about a sudden shift in the laws of physics, we're talking about a downpour that's more like an uppour. Now, picture this. You're taking a leisurely stroll, minding your own business when suddenly your shoes are wet. Not from stepping in a puddle, but from raindrops ascending from the ground. The townsfolk, ever so resourceful, have taken to wearing umbrellas on their feet. Quite the fashion statement, don't you think? And talk about reversing the car wash process. Imagine driving your car and the water shooting up from the ground, giving your undercarriage a good rinse. And don't even get me started on what happens when you try to water your plants. Enter our protagonist, a curious character with a knack for the absurd. Armed with nothing more than a pair of rubber boots and a wild imagination, he embarks on a journey to understand this reverse rain phenomenon. His theories, as you might guess, are as amusingly ridiculous as the phenomenon itself. One such theory involves invisible rain gnomes playing catch with the raindrops. Another suggests that the earth is merely sneezing, and the raindrops are, well, you get the picture. And of course there's the ever-popular theory that the town is simply upside down and we've all been looking at it wrong. So, as you sit there, probably dry and comfortably adhering to the laws of gravity, spare a thought for our upside-down friends. And the next time you complain about the rain, just be glad it's not falling upwards. We've all heard of smart devices, but what about a toaster with a bit too much to say? Imagine this, a sunny Saturday morning, you're making breakfast and your toaster decides to chime in with, "Hey, maybe go easy on the butter today, champ." Yes, our protagonist found himself in possession of a toaster that not only toasts bread, but also dishes out unsolicited advice. Now, the protagonist, let's call him John, was a man of simple tastes. He liked his toast crispy, his coffee strong, and his appliances silent. But this toaster, it was something else. It had a knack for chiming in at the most inappropriate moments. Picture John, about to bite into a nicely toasted piece of bread, and the toaster interrupts with, "Did you know that's your third piece? Moderation is key, John." You could see the frustration on John's face, but it was hard not to chuckle at the absurdity of it all. It wasn't just about the toast though. Oh no, this toaster fancied itself a life coach. About to leave for a date, John hears, "Remember John, confidence is key, and maybe pop a mint." Or when John was deciding whether to hit the gym or not, the toaster piped up with, "You miss 100% of the workouts you don't do, John." John tried everything to silence the toaster. He unplugged it, he tried to reset it, he even put it in a cupboard, but the toaster just kept on talking. It turned out the toaster wasn't just smart, it was also stubborn. John's breakfasts were never the same. Every morning was filled with witty exchanges and unsolicited advice from a toaster. It was hilarious, absurd, and a bit frustrating all at the same time. But hey, it's not every day you find a toaster with a sense of humor and a penchant for life advice. So there you have it, folks. A tale of a man, his toast, and a toaster with way too much to say. And let's not forget the most important lesson here. Remember, a toaster is for toasting bread, not for life advice. Let's wrap up our journey through the world of the bizarre and the nonsensical. First off, let's revisit our friend, the disappearing donut. Ah yes, nothing like a pastry performing a Houdini act on us. One moment, a perfectly glazed donut, the next moment, poof, gone. Not even a sprinkle left behind. Did it run off to join the circus? Or maybe it's on a quest to find the legendary land of lost socks. We may never know. Then of course, we have the gravity-defying cat. Now I've heard of cats having 9 lives, but this one seems to have defied the laws of physics as well. Just casually walking up the walls, defying gravity like it's just another Tuesday. Who needs Spider-Man when you have whiskers over here? Next up, the reverse rain phenomenon. Rain that goes up instead of down. It's like Mother Nature decided to flip the script and rewrite the laws of nature. It's a meteorologist's nightmare and an umbrella maker's dream. And who could forget our chatty little appliance? The talking toaster. It's all fun and games until your breakfast starts giving you life advice. I mean, I appreciate the sentiment, but I'm not sure I need a pep talk from something that burns my toast. These stories, as absurd as they may seem, remind us of the joy and humor that can be found in the most nonsensical situations. They remind us that life doesn't always have to make sense to be enjoyable. In fact, it's often the things that make the least sense that end up making the best stories. So, the next time you encounter something that doesn't make sense, don't dismiss it. Instead, embrace the absurdity, laugh at the ridiculous, and remember, the world is full of wonder, and sometimes that wonder comes in the form of a gravity-defying cat or a donut with a knack for disappearing acts. And there you have it, a journey through the absurd that proves sometimes the things that make the least sense make for the best stories.